Hello, I'm Crystal. Due to cuts in Tailex's budget, there will be no more hella sick guitar introductions, and the episodes may be of significantly less quality. I'm also not getting paid to narrate this shit.
Alright, I'm on a budget. I'm on a time limit, so we gotta move fast. No time. Welcome back to the guide to the Attack on Titan tribute game. Today we're gonna be talking about speed. Also, Master Tailex. In a couple of past episodes, we talked about the do's and do nots and all that shit. It's pretty much gonna come first circle. Alright, full circle. Not first circle, full circle, alright? And experienced players use the do's and do nots unconsciously, but you don't. They played the game for so long that it just becomes natural. They don't have to think about it, but you do. Alright, so now before we move forward, I want to make this super crystal clear, okay? Do not train speed before you train survival, okay? Train survival first. The reason is because if you train survival first, that means that everything that relates to speed will come a lot easier. If you train survival, then you have the basic instincts of a decent player. You know your limits, you check your gas, you know how to handle each wave. And if you've completed the last episode's assignment, clearing force survival, then you should already realize that you were 10 times better than when you first started. Congratulations, you're almost decent. Use Levi! Use the Air-Equator and the Vector Strike, okay? And I'll have links to these tutorials in the description of this video made by other YouTubers, because they go into extreme detail on how to execute these moves. The Air-Equator and the Vector Strike are very short, very simple, very straightforward moves that can be used interchangeably. Just so that you understand the importance of these moves, we're going to discuss the history of them a little bit, okay? Okay. In the first few months that the game existed, the most popular move to learn was something called the Equator Cut, which basically you just swing around a Titan's nape, and you've probably heard about it by now. But there was another move that came along called the Air-Equator Cut, which was invented by a guy named Kuma, who popularized the Air-Equator during the European Vanguard Open Tournament in December of 2013. It was a revolutionary move that changed the way people saw how to play the game forever. So, in my opinion, Kuma is the grandfather of all that is speed in AOTTG for developing the Air-Equator, the first speed-related move. Then reeling came along, and that became insane because people would just bounce from Titan to Titan. So the importance of learning the Air-Equator and the Vector in this case is because these two moves are so big and popular and so iconic that many players know how to use them. So if you need help, you can just ask almost any good player. Alright, I'm not sure if you're ready for this, but here we go. Killing Titans at a fast pace is determined by a player's ability to recognize and execute the fastest route to take down a number of Titans. This is where strategy comes in. For some players, this might be by strategizing and taking down Titans in a clockwise or counterclockwise path around the forest. To eliminate time, instead of bouncing from Titan to Titan, they can just go in a clockwise motion and it'll be a lot simpler that way. But for other players, it means exactly that, bouncing around and finding which Titans are closest. But as we've learned so far, finding the fastest route is only part of it. But I've already pretty much given you everything. The resources, the fastest character, the 2 best moves to practice, a tutorial page, guides on striking different types of Titans and survivability. However, what I have not given you is your experience. You need to earn that yourself, and it's what makes or breaks your skill. Alright, now let me put it like this, okay? What separates a beginner from an expert? Practice. Always practice. The expert has so much experience with their craft versus the beginner who is still trying to learn the basics. Let's compare this to a musician, okay? Musicians. They begin by practicing the same songs over and over again to learn the basics and the theory of music. Most importantly, they acquire muscle memory for different pieces and memorize them. Then after much practice, they become better at performing these pieces over countless hours of practice. Now, I highly advise against slaving yourself over AOTTG because this is just a web browser game, let's face it. But in AOTTG, players have performed Air-Equators and reeling techniques like the Vector Strike over and over again to the point where it becomes muscle memory. They've acquired reflexes that a beginner would not have. Like, why do you think experienced players zone out when they play? It's because their body begins to play for them. Beginners, on the other hand, are much more active and engaged and are learning to play the game because they don't have these reflexes yet. They're still learning. But Tailex, you might say, muscle memory isn't what music is. And yeah, you're right. After practicing for so long, musicians gain something that's called the musician's ear. It becomes their art. They can create their own pieces and improvise when need be. They can go above and beyond and use their creativity with their tangible skill. And you should be eventually able to do the same thing in AOTTG after practicing. You'll be able to improvise in many different situations. You'll be able to learn or create new moves. You'll be able to go higher and higher once you break this mental barrier of relying on your muscle memory to perform each strike. Similar to the musician's ear, I will call this So you know how if you scroll with your mouse wheel, you can either reel in or reel out? Well, some players like to rebind this function, this reel, to a key on their keyboard, and they think that it's a lot easier if you can just click a button. They think it's more accurate that way. So if you want to try this, you can. A lot of the top tier players use this. I personally don't, but that doesn't mean it might not be helpful for you. So give it a shot. Learn to use gas bursts to start at a fast pace, okay? Like, for example, you can roll dodge off of a platform and gas burst forward, and then you'll start flying at a fast speed. Similarly, you can bounce off walls just by running up a wall and then gas bursting away. Special titans like crawlers or punks are a complete wall when it comes to speed. You just have to slow down and kill these guys. Like, there's no other way around it. Punks in groups are monstrous, so you should try and keep them separate at all times and see if you can at least try to let them hit each other with their boulders. But honestly, if you ever just run into a punk, if you're going for speed, try to hook their nape and just reel into it. And if you ever really want to improve yourself in speed, scavenge the community for a player that's better than you. Join their community. You will grow to become at their level. But we'll discuss more of this in the final episode of the series. Oh man, tarnation, goddamn. Did you just listen to everything I said? Man, I sound like a fucking nerd, but dude, I'm not done with you yet. You thought we were almost done, but we're only halfway down the rabbit hole. We're only halfway into Uranus, man, and we're not pulling out yet. You thought you could crawl away and become a good player, man, but I'm pulling you back in right now. I won't let you become a good player just yet. The last 2 episodes of this series will take you above and beyond everything we've discussed so far. But for now, here's Sasha Kai with the weather.
Hi, my name is Sasha Kai, and Tailex made me record this outro because of budget cuts. I'm not paid enough to do this. Also, you should subscribe to my channel. Your practice assignment is to start from Wave 1 in Forest Survival, no punks, no crawlers, and obtain 70 kills in 10 minutes. After achieving 70 kills in 10 minutes, go for 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, then 130 in 10 minutes. This will take a long time. However, like a wise man once said, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. At the end of your journey, you'll be awesome at AOTTG. That's all for this episode. Goodbye.